Yo, what's up, everyone? I hope you all are doing great today. Today I just wanted to do a video basically on something that I've had kind of thoughts about over the past couple of years. Just conversations I've had with people, things I thought of myself, and something that is quite political, but I personally don't think it should be. You're probably thinking, why, Jordan, what is this thing that you've been thinking about that you've spoke to other people about? Um, it's basically to do with trans spaces, primarily when it comes to bathrooms and toilets and athlete stuff. Um, so I just want to make something clear. My channel is all about finding a middle ground when it comes to pretty much everything. So I don't lean 100% on the radical left, but then I don't lean 100% on the radical right as well. So, I'm all about the middle ground to make everyone happy. So, my opinion is with trans people in specific spaces is that it gives a lot of people an excuse to basically be too far for trans people to the point where they disregard non-trans people's feelings, and then it gives others an excuse to be just outright transphobic. And I think that it's a bit of an oxymoron, and I'm not really okay with that. So, for example, if you're into politics, you'll probably notice that a lot of conservatives, Republicans, and people who identify as the right will always show the fake trans people or the trans people that have only just transitioned, and they show all of the outrageous stuff, and it's their way of saying basically trans people be crazy, when actual living, breathing, card carrying trans people themselves aren't crazy. But then on the left, they'll basically disregard the feelings of people who aren't trans and who aren't gay and pansexual and gender fluid and all of that. And I have a problem with that because it's anti-human being. And like I say, I am all about the middle ground, and so is my channel. So I want to explain what I think should happen. So I just want to be, again, completely honest. I personally don't have any actual trans people in my life, although I think that trans people are very cool most of the time. Like, I am all about expressing yourself as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. And even though I don't have any in my life at the minute, I have been to like LGBT clubs and events, and I've met trans people there, and they've always got this cool look to them where it's like, yeah, because I'm not 100% a boy, 100% a girl, I'm like in the middle, and they always express that through like, not always, but like most of them express it through their clothes, so I really like the clothes. um, so yeah, I just wanted to say that I have none in my life, and like I say, I've got nothing against them when it comes to just being themselves, and I think the majority of people don't. But when trans, fake trans people, or kind of like old people that have just transitioned, can be a bit strict, and it puts people off from even being in their corner when they would have been. So, like I say, my two main things that I want to bring up is the whole bathroom and the whole athlete sports kind of thing. I am not really sporty at all, so I feel like I don't have as much of a connection or an opinion to when it comes to athletes. I've recently got into badminton, but even then I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm very new at it. But that's literally it. Like, I was never that person who was into sports. I liked dance. That was pretty much it. But I do think that people who are into sports and train for that. So, like, for example, I would say it's mostly the ones that get in the news and get blown out of proportion or in proportion, it's normally people who were a guy but then they transition to a girl, but it's normally guys who have trained to be male athletes but then transition to be female athletes. And when you look at the picture, it's very clear that they've got a lot more muscle mass. So then they just wipe out all the females. And I personally think that that's just way out of line. And obviously, when it gets in the news, then people debate on whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, and it, like I say, it gives people an excuse to either be too for trans rights to the point where it diminishes other rights, or it gives people a chance to be transphobic, which I'm not a fan of either. But being the moderate person and channel this is, and I am, I think the best way to just kind of make everyone happy, because everything shouldn't revolve around just trans people's wants and needs and, screw everyone that isn't like us. It should be everyone. So I think in every country, there should be at least one trans athlete kind of place where the people who are trans can still compete, and then that way there's no unbalanced and unfair results. So there should be two categories, one for trans women and one for trans men. Then that way it is more fair, and then no one gets upset because it's strictly for trans, so trans people still have a voice, but then it's not in the way of non-trans athletes. So everyone's happy with that one. And then the other one is obviously trans people using the restroom. So I struggled a lot with this one. I'm going to be honest, because I can honestly see both sides, and I've had conversations with people who think completely one way or completely the other. A lot of people that I've kind of spoke to have actually said that they wouldn't trust trans people going into restrooms, and they think that they are perverts, paedophiles, and all that. And I do get what they mean, and I kind of agree, but I don't think just being trans and going into a bathroom automatically means that you are a paedophile. If you were to look at statistics, there would be more sexual assault and rape charges when it comes to churches, high upgrade religious folks, and also people who are of the kind of Sikh Islamic faith. They're actually known for very harshly raping and molesting our girls in UK and in America. So I think that there's more of that kind of people going on in them cultures than just trans people going into restrooms. But again, being the moderate channel this is, I try to imagine what it would be like if I had a son or had a daughter, and I went with them to the bathroom because, they might be young, and then if I was to see someone who appears male but is really female, or the opposite way, I would feel uncomfortable, because I'd be like, are they aware that this is the wrong bathroom? Or I'd look at them and think, oh, I wonder if they're like a guy or a girl. But I just don't think I would go to this person is definitely a predator, because trans people have existed since the beginning of time. And if there was some huge record of trans people being paedophiles, it would make headline news all of the time, and everyone would be aware of it. But there is none, from what I'm aware. With that in mind, I want to make something completely clear. There are boneheads and sickos and paedophiles everywhere. In men, in women, whether you're trans, whether you're not trans. I personally went to a school who had two, and as far as I'm aware, they weren't trans. So well, they definitely didn't look it, so, you know, I'm going to say they're not trans. So from my experience, the two that I knew at that time weren't trans, they were just guys. So I'm not saying that it doesn't happen ever, or that a such thing as a trans predator doesn't exist, because I know that there are some, but I've not seen the figures that show that it's like a big pattern compared to like the people in religion, or the people who are like Sikhi looking, who like go after the girls of our country or in America. To me, it just shouldn't be as much of a big deal, but like I say, I can see both sides. And the people who are like really into calling trans people paedophiles when it comes to bathrooms, I've noticed that a lot of them tend to be religious themselves, or of a different country, who is like a Sikh looking person. And to me, that smells and just screams hypocrite, because if you can't admit that your culture, your faith, and your race is doing the exact same thing, then hypocrite. So, you know, there's just a big kind of discussion I feel like everyone needs to have. So I know that that was a big rant, but uh, my conclusion is the kind of what I think would fix everything, and that would make trans people safe and make parents be at ease, is if we had like one stall bathroom, you know, toilet stall, within every shop. So you know how that there's like one, there's usually one male, one female, one disabled. I feel like that there should be then another one that is for all of the fake trans people, or the real trans people. So it should be the best thing for both sides to be happy with, because that way they're away from the kids and they're away from other people, but then they're by themselves, so then the trans people will be happy with that. I do know that actual trans people who have transitioned at quite an early age, and that are used to that, they have no issue with going to the um, bathroom that they look the closest to. So, for example, I watch a lot of Blair White's YouTube. She's a trans woman. She is very passable to me to be a woman, so she's done it very well. And, you know, she said that if I was to walk into the men's, I would be surprised if no one batted an eye and called me weirdo, because I'm very clearly passing as a woman, so I belong in the woman's one. So I will say, even if, like, every public place that you were in didn't have, like, a gender neutral bathroom, you should go to what you are passing as, and also what the world perceives you as. Right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you've had this experience before, or if you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear the comments, your thoughts in the comments down below. Obviously, if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe, and see you guys.